From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Thursday, March 12th. I'm Wayne Pratt. Ahead, several local and national organizations are taking drastic steps to deal with the spread of coronavirus. The Missouri Senate will not be in session next week as a precaution. Many area universities are suspending on-campus classes. Some are extending spring break. The NCAA has announced this year's basketball tournament games will not be played in front of fans. St. Louis is one of the sites for next week's first and second round matchups. The NBA has suspended its season until further notice, and President Donald Trump has issued a 30-day ban on most European travel. More coverage in a bit. Also today, our Jonathan Ahl will tell us about an 8th grader in Rolla who is using technology to help march eventually in the high school band. Government, sporting events, entertainment options, and education, just some of the areas of everyday life being disrupted by the spread of coronavirus. Several universities in the St. Louis region have canceled in-person instruction starting next week. They are shifting to online education because of concerns about the virus. Here's St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson.
Colleges around the U.S. have canceled on-campus classes for the entire semester because of the coronavirus outbreak. Webster University, Washington University, Maryville University, and St. Louis University are all preparing to transition from an in-person to online instruction. Jessica Evenson is St. Louis University's Vice President of Compliance and Ethics. She says SLU will use next week to make sure professors and instructors are ready for the transition.
So this week allows us to get them oriented to the technology, help them identify how they're, pedagogically they want to move forward and deliver their learning.
None of the campuses in the St. Louis area have reported any cases of COVID-19. I'm Andrea Henderson, St. Louis Public Radio.
Also, the University of Missouri is suspending in-person classes until March 30th, and SIU in Edwardsville and Carbondale are suspending on-campus classes and extending spring break. College basketball fans will not be able to attend upcoming NCAA championship games in St. Louis and other cities. The decision comes amid growing concerns about the spread of the new coronavirus. Washington University sports business professor Patrick Risch estimates the hit to the local economy could range between $10 and $30 million.
Most of the attendees of these events are coming from outside of the host market. So that's why this is such a significant blow to, in particular, hotels and restaurants that are located close to the venues in these different markets.
First and second round games of the men's basketball tournament are slated for next week at Enterprise Center. The NCAA's decision came down hours before the National Basketball Association last night announced an indefinite suspension of its season. The National Hockey League is planning an update today on the status of its season. Traditions in the region are also being hit. Some annual St. Patrick's Day festivities are being postponed or canceled. That includes parades in Dogtown and St. Louis. We have a blog updating coronavirus COVID-19 related developments at our website, stlpublicradio.org. In other news, the U.S. Census Bureau will start to request 2020 census responses across the country today. St. Louis Public Radio's Eric Schmid reports.
Residents can expect mail from the Census Bureau between March 12th and March 20th. The majority of the St. Louis region will be asked to respond online or by phone. Residents around East St. Louis, North City, and North County will also receive a paper form they can mail in. Linda Gladden is a media specialist with the Bureau and says the survey asks for the number, age, gender, and other characteristics of people living in an individual home.
There is no personally identifiable information that you have to give. You do not give your Social Security number.
Gladden says residents that don't respond will receive multiple follow-up letters from the Bureau before an in-person census taker comes to their door. In Belleville, I'm Eric Schmid, St. Louis Public Radio.
Eighth grade band members at Rolla Junior High are getting ready for a big change in the fall. They will be part of the high school marching band. As St. Louis Public Radio's Jonathan Ahl reports, one of the students is up against some big odds to march, but is getting help through the use of technology.
Carter Chance really enjoys playing the French horn.
When I have a concert, I get chills up my spine because it's really fun playing it.
The 8th grader at Rolla Junior High School has cerebral palsy. One of the effects of the disorder is he has very little strength in his right arm and almost no use of his right hand. But his band director, Mike Goldschmidt, says the French horn is ideal for him.
We originally chose that instrument because you actually use your left hand on the valves to be able to play it, and then your right hand just goes in the bell, and all it needs to do is sit there, and that works perfect for Carter.
But in a somewhat cruel twist, French horns with their bells pointed backwards are great for concert band. But in marching band, when the bells need to face forward, French horn players switch to mellophone, which looks like a big trumpet and is played with the right hand. Carter says not marching was never an option.
When I was little, I always, when we ever went to football games, I always liked the marching band, and I always wanted to do it, and it looked fun.
So Mike Goldschmidt did some research and found out that Northwest High School in St. Louis had a student with a similar problem, and they were able to solve it by building her a support with a 3D printer. Goldschmidt went to Rolla Technical Institute for help. That's where the school teaches classes like automotive technology and drafting. It's also where they have a 3D printer. Megan Bilbrow teaches drafting at RTI. She and one of her students, senior Riley Troop, started working on a way to get Carter into marching band. They got the specs for the support from Northwest High School and printed out a version in Rolla. But it didn't work.
His arm had much less strength than hers did. I don't believe she had a fully developed hand, but she had all of the arm strength where he was lacking that strength. Hand wouldn't even fit in the prototype. So we kind of scratched that and we start from scratch again.
Bilbrow says while the first attempt didn't work, it was a great starting point to come up with something. Troop says he's working on a new design that comes from the movie industry, a vest that is worn to support a camera.
Sometimes it's used for movies so you can move around while not having to support the full weight of this big bulky camera, because that would allow him to still move and be able to do many of the motions that they might do in band.
The clock is ticking. High school marching band starts in late July when they begin rehearsals that often last hours at a time. That's a very long time to hold up a heavy, two-handed instrument with one hand. Troop says he's confident they will have something ready for Carter, and he's looking forward to it.
I think it'll be really awesome seeing that he's able to finally do another thing that he's been wanting to do for a long time, and him being able to do something that he's never been able to do before.
Right now, the version of a support system Carter is using is a long pole attached to the mellophone that's connected to a special belt. It's a temporary fix for sure, as band director Goldschmidt says it won't stand up to the rigors of all-day marching band rehearsals. But it is helping Carter get used to playing the mellophone and marching. Goldschmidt says he's confident Carter will march this fall, and when he does, there might be another Carter in the audience.
We're out there in front of a huge crowd of people, and maybe just there's one person that in that audience that just gets captivated by the music or whatever you're portraying at that time. So music is powerful.
The music could reach a kid that wants to be in the band, even though something may seem to be in their way. But technology and a group of people who want to make it happen can take down those barriers. In Rolla, I'm Jonathan Ahl, St. Louis Public Radio.
Our Fred Ehrlich edited that report. Shula Newman is the executive editor of St. Louis Public Radio. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. A big thanks to St. Louis Public Radio's Rachel Littman, Ryan Delaney, Maria Altman, Eli Chen, Shayla Farzan, and Sarah Fenton for filling in over the past few days. I'm Wayne Pratt from the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom. This has been The Gateway.
Support comes from Mosby Building Arts, a design-build company committed to remodeling the right way. Visit callmosby.com to get project inspiration for any room of your house.